Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katina and I am the creator of Live Life Learn. I created this channel because I am currently on a debt-free journey that I started in June of last year. And I simply wanted to share with you all my experience and I wanted to take you guys along with me. So if you're interested in getting out of debt, if you're interested in how to start a debt-free journey this new year, well, this is the place to be. So I'm bringing to you guys a brand new topic. I know it's been a minute since I've been on here, but a few weeks, maybe 14 days. Who's counting, right? But I wanted to share with you guys a new topic that I was actually up, y'all, until about 1:30 this morning. What's today? Well, yeah, 1:30 this morning, on simply just taking notes. I had so much information in my head and I was jotting down notes on my computer because I really wanted to make sure that I had everything empty out of my brain onto my computer and I didn't want to miss out on anything. Okay, so if y'all see me just kind of looking down a little bit, it's because I'm looking at my computer. I just want to make sure that I get all this information in. I was trying to print this off here at home, but y'all, I need new ink for my printer. It's expensive. So I'm gonna have to wait and buy my little ink cartridge. I don't know, maybe this weekend. But at any rate, I have all that I need right here on my computer to refer to reference back at. So if y'all see me just kind of like looking away like that, it's because I'm looking at my computer and all of the notes that I took up until 1:30 this morning. And I am sleepy and I'm trying to work. So let's talk about this topic. This topic, as with all of my topics, I say are interesting and great topics. So how to pay off debt quickly. I have two methods that work really well for beginners. And I'm going to share with you guys which method I am currently using to pay off my debt. So let me just start by saying there is always more than one way to do something, right? There's always more than one way to style your hair, to style your wigs, to style your braids. Just to do anything. So I don't want to put getting out of debt or just kind of narrowing getting out of debt down to two ways. Okay, it's not. There are multiple ways, honestly, of getting out of debt. The great thing is that you can decide which method works best for you. So I decided to just focus in on these two methods because I found them to be very easy, or actually easy to digest and understand, if you will. And it's just a matter of which one works best for you. Remember, it's about what works best for you. Okay, it's all about you and how you can progress on your journey of getting out of debt. All right, so let me just go ahead and start this up here. So debt is like a real headache. Okay, we all know that. If you're in debt, if you got any kind of debt, whatever it might be, it is a headache. It is a stressor. It is a bitch. Okay. That is debt for you, summed up in a nutshell. All right. So although debt makes you feel some type of way, and it's not an easy process at all to start to tackle, but it can be done. Still, the whole process, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So that's why it's important to just kind of like do your research and find your best way that can help you navigate through the process of getting on a debt-free journey and getting on a road to recovery, financial recovery, if you will. So I felt like this topic was important to share because, I hear and I read a lot about debt, y'all. I really do. I read a lot of stories. I watch videos. I get books from the library. Yes, I still go to the library. I love the library. Okay, so I'll go get some books, check those out. I'll go buy a book or two from the bookstore. Just depends. But I like to really make sure that I have a plethora of information to pull on and to pull from as I travel down this journey or anything that I'm trying to figure out or learn and trying to create a plan on how to get out of that thing, right? So there are two methods that can help you get out of debt fairly quickly, right? There are two. There's more than two, but we're going to focus on the two that I'm talking about right here, okay? But that time frame of getting out of debt quickly, that time frame it's personal. It really depends on you. So my quick may not be your quick, and your quick may not be my quick. It just simply depends on how you define quick and what that looks like to you. All right. So, however, the goal is to do what works best for you. I want you guys to remember that, you know, sometimes you can have what is it called, information overload, right? Where you can have so much information going into your brain that you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, I don't know which way to go, I just don't know. So it's important that you source out and find out through research and trial and error, okay, what is the best method for you. So what's best for you is important. It's all about you. Okay, so paying the minimum on your debt, it's not gonna get you nowhere fast. Okay, now I done this, okay, a lot, and it's not gonna get you anywhere quickly, not at all. So here's an example that I thought about when I was writing this up last night. So this all came to my head, y'all. So that's why I went to bed so late, because I had all these things coming up in my head, and I had to get it out somewhere on my laptop or paper or whatever. So here's a scenario, right? Follow me, okay? So just imagine, all right, trying to get to your 8 a.m. appointment, all right? Just imagine that. You're trying to get to your 8 a.m. appointment, and it's an hour away, okay? Your 8 o'clock appointment is 1 hour away, and you leave your house at 8:30 or later. Now, y'all, honestly, y'all, that'd be me sometimes, okay? I have an appointment with an hour, and I'll leave like my house, and it'd be an hour away, and I'll leave my house about a half hour or later, okay? So you leave your house at 8:30, or you leave later than that, and you decide to take the street. You said, you know what, I'm just gonna take the street. I know this appointment is an hour away. I'm gonna take the street, although I'm leaving at 8:30. My appointment is at 8 o'clock, right? And you leave the house at 7:30, because your appointment is at 8 and your appointment is an hour away. Okay, let me get my times right. And you leave your house at 7:30 for your 8 o'clock appointment. That's 1 hour away. So you decide to take the street, okay? Not the highway, which is the fastest way to get to your appointment, which is the highway. So why would you get on the street for your appointment that's 1 hour away and you're half hour into that time block right there, right? So taking the street takes longer, y'all, to get to the appointment. Therefore, you have to deal with the consequences of being late, right? Because your appointment's at 8, it's an hour away from your house, you left your home at 7:30. So you decide that I'm going to hop on the street and not the highway. And the highway is the fastest way. You feel me? Y'all got me on this little scenario? I hope you do. Okay, I hope you're following me. When you have consequences before being late to that appointment. But if you took the highway, okay, you can accelerate your speed, because you can go faster on the highway than you can on the street, allegedly, depending on where you're at. But in essence, y'all get my drift. You can move much faster on the highway versus the street. So one would think that if my appointment, it's already 7:30, I have to be there at 8, it's an hour away, I need to get there the fastest way possible. That ain't the street, it's really the highway, okay? So if you take the highway, you can accelerate your speed and you can make it on time. Hopefully, okay, and as I was writing this, I thought about this. Hopefully there are no traffic jams along the way, and I plan to discuss debt traffic jams in another video, okay? I thought about that as I was writing. So that's like, okay, so with that scenario about getting to your appointment and things like that, it's an hour away, you're leaving late. That's kind of like paying the minimum amount on your credit card payments or your debt payments in general. Okay, it's kind of like the same scenario, right? You're taking the streets, okay, to pay off debt versus hopping on the highway to accelerate your debt payoff, all right? So you kind of want to, I thought about that and how that kind of is similar, if you will, in terms of scenario and how that can all play out. So it's going to take you much longer to pay off your debt if you continue to focus on paying the minimum payment, and if you have no plan on how to get out of debt by choosing a method that that will work best for you. It's also going to cost you time and also money, because And when I say costing you time, it's going to take more time to get out of debt, okay? And then in terms of costing you more money, when you're dealing with debt, you're often having to pay interest on that debt. So you're going to incur more interest on that debt because you're paying the minimum amount, and it's therefore you're going to be spending extra money. And I can attest to that with my, paying off just paying the minimum payment on credit cards. It's like you're going nowhere. You're going nowhere no time soon. You're just simply you're on the street trying to get to this appointment, okay? That's a whole hour away, and you're on the street doing the speed limit, right? And you really need to be on the highway. That's just like with your debt. You need to hop on the highway and accelerate your speed and paying off your debt, right? Okay? So let me go ahead and jump into these two methods of paying off your debts. I'm going to slide my little computer down here. So the two methods that I want to talk about is the Snowball Method and the Avalanche Method. Those are the two that we're going to simply focus on in this video. So both of these methods, the Snowball Effect and the Avalanche Effect, they both work well with most consumer debt. So you can utilize one of these options, okay, one of these paying options or debt reduction options to tackle like your credit card payments, your medical bills. You can also use it for auto loans, personal loans, and even some student loan debts. Now, I don't have student loan debt. I paid my student loan debt off years and years ago. It wasn't a whole lot, so I was at least able to pay that off quickly. So, but I do know a lot of people that have lots of student loan debt, right? But you can use one of these methods, the Snowball Effect or the Avalanche Effect, to tackle your debt, to literally pay that off fast. Okay, so let's talk about the first method real quick. So the first, and this is a shortcut version, you guys, of these methods. So I highly recommend that you do your research, okay? Go on Miss Google and research the Avalanche and the Snowball Effect debt payment methods and see which one you like. There's a lot of information out there on YouTube, and also with Google and at your local library on how these two differ but are similarly the same, all right? So the first method of getting out of debt, which is the Snowball Effect. I also call it the Dave Ramsey method as well. So if you are not familiar with Dave Ramsey, you can just simply Google Mr. Ramsey and all sorts of information will pop up about his Dave Ramsey and his method of the Snowball Effect, all right, and getting out of debt and things like that. And he talks about an array of other things that has to do with your finance. So how does this method work? Okay, so here's a quick breakdown on how it works. And again, if you need more information, because this is like the short version, if you need more information on how either one of these methods works, please check out YouTube videos that breaks it down even more so than I am. And also you can Google, and it has so much information, you guys, on Google. Okay, so just check with some research engines and I promise you, you'll find out more information and what works best for you. So the first thing you want to do is you want to write down your debt from smallest to largest for the Snowball Effect, okay? And actually this method is for both. So you're going to write down all of your debts from the smallest to the largest, okay? And you're going to take the smallest debt with the Snowball Effect, and you're going to create a timetable and a payoff plan on how you can pay off this debt ASAP by making extra payments towards that particular debt. So here's an example for you. If you have 3 credit cards, right? Let's just say you have a Visa and the balance is $1,500. You have a Discover with a balance of $1,000. And then you have a Macy's credit card with a $500 balance, all right? So that's 3. What you want to do is you want to focus your attention with the Snowball Method. That's what we're talking about right now. Right now, it's a Snowball Effect. You want to simply focus your attention on that Macy's card. And the reason why, remember, with the Snowball Effect, we're starting with the credit card or with the debt, whatever, that has the smallest balance. It doesn't necessarily have to be a credit card. It can be some medical bills. It can be, if you have some personal loans, more than one. You're going to be starting with that particular debt with the smallest balance. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a plan to pay off, in this example, the Macy's card. The Macy's balance is $500. You're going to take that balance, all right, because you've already listed all of your debts and you realize that that was a smaller balance. You're going to take that and you're going to come up with a plan and a timetable on how you can eliminate that particular debt very, very fast. So, it's a unique perspective, and I can't wait. I almost said it. I can't wait to share with you guys how I was able to, which method I chose and on my debt-free journey and eliminating my credit card debts, right? Okay, so you want to figure out, a timetable. So let's just say you want to have it paid off in 3 months. You would take that $500 balance and tack on some interest as well, because you're still going to be accruing interest on that card. So I would say around I would take it up to maybe $575 or something like that, or $600, because the interest rate on these credit cards are so high, especially department store credit cards, that you want to factor that in. So I would take that balance and divide it by 3, okay, and give yourself a timetable on when you're going to pay that off. So you can say to yourself or write down your goal to have in this example, the Macy's card paid off in 3 months. You're going to take the balance and you're going to divide it by 3, and you're going to start to tackle it that way. The other way that you can do it is that you can take the balance of this particular credit card and you can divide it by 2, and you can make a plan and to pay that particular card off in 2 payments. You can pay, for an example, if it's just a straight $500, you can pay $250, 1 month and $250 the next month. Or if you can pay $250 one paycheck and $250 out of the next paycheck, if you get like paid bi-weekly or whatever, and eliminate it quickly that way. This is definitely a quick way to gain small wins, okay? If you're that type of person in which you need to have a small win to keep moving and keep going, this is a great way to do that. And I really enjoy this method. I think it's pretty neat and very interesting. But some people don't like it. This doesn't work for some people, and that's perfectly fine, right? Again, it's about what works best for you. So while you're focusing now, let me just say, okay, while you're focusing on that smallest balance, you must continue to pay on your other debts, right? So don't be late, okay? Don't be late. Be sure that this is why it's important that you have to create a plan, all right? You have to create a plan of action. You have to set a timetable, and you have to create your budget, right? It always bounces back to budgeting, right? Everything goes back to the budget. So you want to make sure that you're continuing to pay the minimum amount on your other debts. Do not be late. Don't forget. Those are still live and kicking. You want to pay those, but you want to center your attention on that debt that has the smallest balance first, right? All right, so let's move on to the second method. The second method of paying off your debt is the Avalanche Method. But before I jump into that, once you have paid off, I'm sorry, you guys, once you paid off that Macy's card, and I have to bounce back a second. Once you paid off that Macy's card, you can then move on to the next card. You can take, not because you don't have the balance anymore on the Macy's card, okay? It's paid off, it's down to 0, yay. You don't have to worry about that no more. So what you want to do next is move on to the second card, and that would be in this example and scenario, it would be the Discover card, which is $1,000, and you want to do the same thing as you did with the first. Now you can take that money because you no longer have a payment for the Macy's card. It's paid off. See, now you can take that money, right, and put it on and focus that particular money and your plan on paying off the next credit card. And in this example, it is the Discover card, all right? So y'all understand what I'm saying? It's going to roll over to the next. It's going to snowball. It's going to just keep rolling. It's going to create, now it's created a snowball effect. One is already paid off. Now we're going to take the snowball, right? And we're going to move it to the next debt. And then once that second debt is paid off and it's clear, we're going to continue to build that snowball bigger. And we're going to put money on that third debt. You understand what I'm saying? You feel me? So that is why it's called the Snowball Method. You're going to just keep rolling until all of the debts are paid off. You're going to start with your small snowball, and it's going to escalate, right? It's going to move on to the next one and the next one, because the next one it moves on to, the next debt is higher than the first debt, and then so forth and so on, right? Right. Okay. So I hope you guys understand what I am saying about that. So let's talk about the Avalanche Method. So with the Avalanche method of paying off your debt, what you're going to do is, again, Always, no matter what method you choose, even if it's not these two, whatever it is, you need to write down all of your debts so you can see where you're at, so you can know where you're going. Okay, there's no way that you can do any of these methods, whatever you choose, without literally creating a budget, writing down your debts, and seeing what's there right in front of you. Okay, so you want to create a plan, and you want to create a time frame focusing on the highest interest debt first. Okay, so we're not focusing on the smallest debt with Avalanche. We're focused on that particular debt that has the highest interest rate. Okay, so I think this works really well, this particular method, if you have like credit card debt. I think it works really well for that. So for an example, I have another example for you that I created. So if you have 4 credit cards, and I'm using credit cards because it's easy, and the interest rates for each card, you have a 20.99%, a 25% on a credit card, you have a 27.99%, and then you have a credit card with a 29.99%. That kind of sounds like me and my credit cards. Okay, so what you're going to do in this scenario here, you will focus your attention on paying off that particular credit card that has the highest interest rate. Okay, so in this case, the highest interest rate is 29.99%, and you want to tackle that card with great force. You want to tackle that particular debt with a lot of force. Now remember, as with the snowball method, you have to continue to pay at least the minimum amount on your other debts. You don't want to stop doing that. You want to continue to pay your minimum amounts on your other debts, putting all of your attention, all of your force, all of your might on that particular debt that has the highest interest rate. Remember, don't be late. Don't be late in paying off those other debts. Don't neglect those. Don't forget about those, because you don't want to be having to pay any sort of late penalty fees. Nobody wants to do that. So just, again, you want to focus your attention on the highest interest rate first. And then after you pay off that particular card with the highest interest rate, you're going to move on to the next card. In this case, it's the card that has the 27.99, so forth and so on, until you have eliminated those debts. Now, this particular method here, the Avalanche method, it's going to save you the most in interest, right? So that's why some people choose to do the Avalanche method, is because it saves them in interest, the amount of interest that you're paying on your debt. It's going to save you some money. So whether either method, with either method, you get to pay off your debt quickly. It's about whether you want to save money with interest, paying out all this interest on the Avalanche method, or if you want to tackle the smallest balance on your in your debt category while using the snowball method, and you want small wins. So I hope that you guys understand those two methods that I think are quite popular, which is the snowball effect, starting with the debt that has the smallest balance, or the avalanche effect, starting with the debt that has the highest interest rate. And remember, it's up to you. So please do your research, dig a little deeper, and find out which one you think will flow, or try both, y'all. Try both of them and see which one works best for you. But I can guarantee you this: one is going to work for you. One will work for you. They're great methods. So which method did I decide to go with when I started my debt-free journey? I decided that I was going to utilize the snowball effect, okay? And let me just share with you why I decided to go with the snowball effect. Now, I am that kind of person. I need to have small wins. Excuse me. So thirsty. Sorry, I know that's loud. But I need quick wins. I have to have them. That's just how I'm set up. I'm just a person who needs to have some quick wins to keep me motivated and to keep me disciplined in the process. The quicker the wins, the better I am on continuing the journey, the more likely I will continue on the journey. So I felt like the snowball effect was going to work best for me. Okay. Now, I knew for me that the snowball effect was durable. Okay. It was user friendly, and it was great for beginners like myself trying to get out of debt and trying to stay out of debt. So This particular method, the snowball effect of getting out of debt, was great for me. But let me just be honest with you guys in full transparency. And again, I'm looking at my computer if you're wondering what I'm doing, my notes here. Um, Although I appreciate the snowball effect that Dave Ramsey talks about quite often, I did not agree with some of the things that he spoke about as it relates to getting out of debt. I just did not. So I took what I needed from his method and utilized it on my journey. I just simply don't agree with every single thing that Mr. Ramsey suggested, that he talked about. I am not going to eat no beans and rice every day, okay? And trying to get out of debt. I'm not going to do that. Um, and there's some things I'm just simply not going to do. I'm going to work on disciplining myself and creating better habits for myself. So all of his suggestions might work best for, a lot of people. I just didn't agree with some of them. So therefore I did not utilize them. And that goes both ways. Whatever you decide to do, whichever method you decide to take, you may not agree with the process in its entirety. And you can literally take away from the process bits and pieces or ideas and concepts and apply them to your journey, to your debt-free journey, or simply to your method or your life, if you will. You can take these things, these suggestions, and fit them in the puzzle of your life on getting out of debt. So I do appreciate it. I love the foundation of the snowball effect method and how it works. It works for me. The whole foundation of it all works for me, but some other things, they just did not work for me. I did look at using the Avalanche method, but it wasn't for me. I was like, all my damn credit cards have high interest. So girl, it really don't matter which one I'm going to do. They all high, so I thought that because they were all high interest credit cards, I had already wrote down all of my credit cards, the balance, the interest rates, and the monthly payments on my spreadsheet. I knew what I was working with. And as I began to look and dive into each and every line item of credit card debts on my spreadsheet, I realized that these interest rates are all bad, right? They're all high. So I felt like the Avalanche method of getting out of debt wasn't working for me. It wouldn't work for me. It just wouldn't. So the snowball effect was the method that I chose to get out of debt. And you guys, I did get quick wins right away. I truly did. I was able to accelerate my debt payoff by using the snowball method, because once I paid off that first credit card, which was, I want to say my balance was $250. Once I paid that off, I was popping after that. I was on it. My motivation train was moving, and I was excited to get to the next one, to the next one, and to the next one. And now I'm down to just 3 credit cards left to pay off out of, I think 13, I want to say. Oh my God, 15, 13, I don't know. But needless to say, I'm down to just 3 credit cards now. I'm no longer in the double digits, right? And all of that was the snowball effect that I used, paying off my debt. So I got off the street, y'all, okay? I got off the street, the debt avenue, okay? And I got on debt 55, right? I got on highway debt 55. I accelerated the gas and I created a plan, right? I put it in my budget, and a timetable is the utmost important. And that's how I was able to pay off my debt using the snowball method. I just simply said, girl, these streets ain't it as far as paying off your debt, because I'm going too slow. I ain't gonna never get out of debt if I just pay the minimum payments on my credit cards constantly, and then that's all I pay. Hell, I ain't ever gonna get out. It's gonna be years before. Let me just say, I'll get out, but it'll be years and years later. And I didn't want that, y'all. So I said, girl, this ain't it. We are about to accelerate. We about to hit the gas. We're about to get on the damn highway. We're gonna use the snowball method. And that is how I was able to go from having like 13, I have a total of 15 credit cards. I went from having 13 open credit cards in June. Everybody was maxed out. All these credit cards were at the limit or above. Now it is January, okay? And I am down to just 3 cards left to pay off. And I'm super excited about that. And I'm continuing to use the Snowball Method on paying those off as well. I'm just simply taking, like, I think this month's card of choice is my Express credit card. That I am focusing on paying off, and I'll have that paid off in 4 payments. I decided it's a high balance credit card, but I'm gonna do what I need to do and what I must do to pay this thing off quickly because I hate the damn thing. All right, so you just simply wanna, do your research, you guys, and you want to do what works best for you. If I had to recommend a method to you guys, it would be the Snowball Method. I just love it. I love the foundation. I love the concept. And I love how you can get a quick win. You can really get a quick win. You can really pay off a debt fairly fast, which will in turn motivate you and also discipline you because you're excited that that debt has been eliminated. So please do your research. See what method works for you. It may not be any of these methods. You may find another one that's hanging out there. I'm sure there is. But you just simply decide what is best for me. What's going to help me get out of debt faster. Debt is trash. Okay. I hear things about good debt versus bad debt. To me, it's all trash. I can't stand the shit. But it's just a lot of stress for me. Okay, that's just my personal opinion, my personal experience and thoughts. Maybe I'll feel different in a few years. I have no idea, but I just know as it stands for me and what I've been through and all of the stress that I have been under, and just not feeling well physically or mentally because of the amount of debt, losing my damn edges because of my hairline, because of the amount of debt I had was ridiculous, and I had to figure out a way for me to eliminate that. And I've researched and found the Snowball Method and Avalanche, and I compared the two and said, well, come on, honey, with the Snowball. We're going to roll with it. All right? We're going to get off the street and hop on the highway so we can accelerate paying off this debt and get some quick wins so that I can keep going. All right? Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. And of course, stay tuned, y'all. I do have the weekly word motivator, okay? And we're going to get into that as well in just a second. Okay, guys, so the weekly word motivator is up, all right? The weekly word motivator of the week is force, not fourth, but force is the weekly word motivator. And in Spanish, it's la fortua. La fortua, meaning force, is the weekly word motivator of the week. So I chose the force for a reason. You know what? I wrote this down last night when I was sleepy as I don't know what and trying to figure out what I was going to talk about. And force just popped up. It just kept coming as I was writing and thinking and things like that. And what that means as it relates to being on a debt-free journey or whatever journey that you're on. What does la forta mean when you're on some sort of journey? So you want to, whatever goals you have, right? Whatever goals you have, whatever journey you're on, whatever you're trying to do to get into a good place or a sweet spot in your life, or if you want to simply better yourself, right? You need to do it with some force, okay? You have to do it with force, with la forta. You have to do it with strength. You have to do it with energy, and you must do it with action, okay? I am so grateful for this thought that popped in my mind as I was trying to get my content together for this video. I have a lot of things that I want to share with you guys. I really do. But I feel like it needs to be shared at the right time and the right moment. And I just simply felt like talking about and discussing with y'all these two methods of getting out of debt was today, or this topic was needed. Okay, I wanted to talk about something else, but I just kept coming back to this subject matter. But again, whatever goals, journeys, life changes you want to do, you have to do it with force. You have to do it with a forta. Make sure you have the strength and your energy and you have action behind it. Now, It is not easy. It's just ain't. It's not easy. Not at all. Okay. It's going to take work. It's going to take energy. It's going to take action. It's going to take strength. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take consistency. All right. It's going to take doing it when you just simply don't feel like it. It's going to take doing it when you ain't in the mood. But you have to do it with force, period. Okay. So you have to break your old habits in order to take anything by force. And you have to get rid of those habits that no longer serves you, okay? You must get rid of those habits that no longer serve you and that's taken away your mental stability, okay? And the only way that you can do that is by force, okay? You can do that through mental force, and I believe that you do that through prayer, okay? So I'm gonna be very transparent and honest with y'all. Y'all already know. I would not be where I am at this moment if I was not praying and seeking God for some guidance and for some strength and for help. Okay. I would not be. All right. So you have to, I highly recommend that you no longer serve those habits, okay, that they don't provide you with no benefits, right? Get rid of those old habits. They don't serve you in no way. It's hard to sometimes get rid of bad habits. I'm going to be very honest. Like me breaking my bad habits, it's not easy. I have to train myself to get out of those old ways. I have to train myself to get out of the old way of thinking, the old way of doing, so that I can take things by force. You cannot take things by force with bad habits. It's not going to work. Okay, you're going to be just continue to do the same thing and get nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. So you want to make sure that you dump those things that no longer serve you, those old habits that no longer serve you, and you want to take it by mental force and also prayer if you pray. Okay, I do. So force is a verb, okay? Force is a verb, it's an action word, and it requires you to do something, and that something requires you to change your mindset, all right? So you have to take action, and that action is equal to changing your mindset if you want to get out of debt. And God, I don't know nobody who don't want to. I think a lot of people struggle with, as myself, with how to do that, right? There's so many ways you can do it. But you have to take that goal, you have to take that journey, right? You have to take it by force. You must use force behind it. You have to. If you want to be free of that thing. Bad habits, right? You have to take it by force, right? You have to get rid of those things that don't serve you anymore. You have to get rid of those things that are working against you, those habits that are working against your greater person. Dump that, all right? Work on getting rid of that so that you can propel, so that you can move forward, not backwards, so that you could keep going and not be stagnant, right? It's okay to slow down on your journey, because sometimes, y'all, I slow down, right? I do. But you know what? I don't stop. I keep moving. I keep moving. I might be moving at a slow pace. I may not be moving as fast as when I started this journey in June, because now my balances that I'm dealing with are much higher on my credit cards. But guess what? I have not stopped moving. All right. I'm not stagnant. I refuse to be, because if I stop moving, I'm not going anywhere. If I stop moving, I'm not going to finish. Right. So take your goals, your journeys, right? The things that you truly want to do, take it by force, take it by action, energy, strength. Change your mindset. Change your mindset, okay? It is a work. It is not easy, right? But guess what? It is doable. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Y'all know I do long videos. I'm not going to even apologize for it anymore. It just is what it is. It's just me. I like to talk. But thank you guys so much for listening to me. I hope y'all have an amazing day. This light, y'all, is no joke, okay? It is actually cloudy outside, and child, this daylight is beaming through. So my backdrop is natural light. I'll figure it out at some point. But y'all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for joining me. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.